Hi guys, my name's Chris and I'm one half of CR Performance, and I'm going to talk you through how to get fit, healthy, change your body composition when you have minimal time. Now here's what we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing guys working long hours, spinning the plates of life, which involve a career, it involves a family, it involves that chase for success, and ultimately your health gets curbed. It gets put to the bottom of the priority list, and it's something you consistently think you'll deal with later. So this is what we're trying to basically have an impact on. So we've got this family life, we've got this career life, or it might be business, and we know that your number one priority is success in these areas. So we're not trying to say to you, move these out of the way and prioritize your health. That's not what we're trying to say. But what we're trying to say is that we don't want your health on the shelf without you considering it. So we know that you know it's important. We just need to show you a way how it's better to implement so you've got a tangible and a sustainable regime in place. So because this happens, we see this all the time with the guys that we coach when they start. This lack of time pulls them into this negative health cycle where they'll decide to lose weight or get healthy. They'll make drastic changes and huge commitments to do it, almost like a panic reaction. They'll reduce food groups, or they'll cut out meals altogether, or they'll try and commit to doing a run every day before work, something that's just unrealistic to hold up. So then they start to feel deprived or overwhelmed, and then they just have to basically give it up because they don't feel motivated. It's too much, or they're feeling too hungry, or they're craving a beer, or craving a loaf of bread, whatever it might be. And because they're craving all this stuff, they lose motivation and they give up and fall off the wagon. The regime stops. And then because this, it takes up energy mentally and physically, and you have to basically wait for that energy to go again. And that can take weeks, it can take months, and it can take years. But ultimately, you can be stuck in this health cycle for your whole life. Yeah. And this is something that we need to break, because otherwise it will just continue going on. So how do we do that? Now, the biggest thing is if we think about what you can become, how you become more time efficient at something is become more skilled. Anything that you're good at, you can do it fast. Yeah. So when it comes to nutrition, exercise, or health, if you can get very good at understanding and understand all the processes that need to go with it, you can become an expert. Then you basically make automatic reactions. Because what we see at this stage, when guys are just starting out, they think about food, they think about exercise, and it becomes this mechanical process of what's the best thing to eat, what's the best way to exercise, and they just get stuck. So anything that takes you more than 10 seconds to figure out, you're just going to shut it down and think, I'll deal with it later. So what we know helps the guys that we work with is that we take them through this process of upgrading their skill level, so they fully understand what to do, when to do, and how to do it with minimum thought process. And that's the biggest thing. So how do we do that? So for your time efficient health regime, it's broken down into three simple stages. The first thing we need to look at is your behaviors and your habits. Now, indirectly, whether you are conscious of it or not, you would have been pulled into some bad habits and behaviors. And these things would be basically getting in the way of your progress on a daily basis. But what we're used to seeing is guys really trying to like knock them all out in one go, make this massive overhaul, and it really leaves them with little chance of it being sustainable. So what we're looking to implement is the smallest change possible for the biggest results. And if it's small changes that gets big results, that's going to make it something that you can stick to long term. That's the most important thing. So secondly, we have nutrition. So again, we see people, guys, making big overhauls on their food choices. I mentioned earlier, cutting out food groups, saying they're going to go a week or a month or a year without beer. You know, these over the top attempts. It could be trying a fad diet like an Atkins diet or a no carb. Keto is really popular nowadays, but it's just drastic. So what we're looking to do is implement something that is based on the food that you already eat. So it's as close to what you're already doing, but it's a refined version that gives you a maximum result on a weekly basis. If you can implement something that is as close to what you're already doing, it's going to make it as seamless as possible. And ultimately, will take you less time. So thirdly is exercise. What we see is guys chasing the calorie burn all the time. They're always trying to think that exercise has to be about burning as many calories as possible. Whereas in reality, it's about changing your metabolism. Now, what we look to implement is workouts that will give you this metabolic shift. So think about it. You're going to be sat down for the majority of your life moving forward, more likely than not, in terms of your career, in terms of just how life is sedentary. Everybody's sitting down far too often. So what we don't want to do is basically rely on having to go out and burn calories all the time. But if we can put workouts together that burn calories while you're sat down, in other words, increase your metabolism, that's going to save you more time and it's going to give you better results long term. So all of this concept really is focusing on quality over quantity. And the biggest thing is to try and fit all this in within 15, 30 to 45-minute windows throughout your day. So that's going to be based on your behaviors and habits, your nutrition, your exercise, all within this small window each day. That's the most important thing. We know you haven't got hours to prepare food or to spend in a gym. 45 minutes max. Let's get this done. Let's get some results. So guys, I hope that helps. This is how we take on your time situation and give you the best result possible.